Hey, how's it going? Today I want to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go over a some things that I feel like are pretty important to know about while working in the tech industry. And I know with like the current environment or climate, it's been very volatile. And I've been through a lot of experiences myself, so I feel like I kind of just want to share what I think is important and lessons I've learned. So I guess for today's topic, it's mainly of just tips for working in the tech industry. Number one, um, I would say I didn't really put an order on these things. I kind of just have them. Maybe I can order them at the end. But yeah, anyways, we'll go into it. So number one is learn early on about processes. This is mainly just to entail when you join like a new company, um, it's very easy to just go with the flow and just assume you'll learn things on the fly. Um, and sometimes that can work out for you. But for myself, I feel like I definitely took this for granted and took it very chill. And I feel like it bit me in the butt in the future. Because there were a lot of things that I could have learned, such as like, um, I don't know, for example, like, oh, how do you create like a new microservice? Or what's like a good, plausible reason for creating one? Or hey, this endpoint's not working, where's like a good place to look? I did see like documentation for it previously, but I just like brushed over it because I didn't really care for it as much. I felt like I could make an impact just through my work itself. But as I was going through my most recent position, I feel like if I had just gone through the easy parts more thoroughly, I would have saved an immense amount of time debugging or reiterating different tasks. And I feel like this applies for a lot of other cases, not even just software development. I'm not as aware of how the other um, like roles such as like PMs or analysts go, but I feel like it's probably somewhat similar. Number two, your work is not family. Even though like a lot of companies will kind of come at you like, oh yeah, I mean we care about you and etc. It's really not true. Like I don't know why they keep trying to like employ this kind of idea within their employees because I mean I feel like with the recent years you hear about layoffs just happening everywhere. Um, because at the end of the day, the stakeholders don't really care about the employees. They're caring about their money and making sure it's safe. I mean, even if you look at like your offer letters, they always entail this statement saying it's an at-will employment. So they're free to terminate you whenever due to whatever reason. And I feel like that's just an indication of that's something that you also have the power to do. Um, if you're working at a company that just doesn't feel like it's treating you right, you should be interviewing at other places. Um, because I feel like for me, I took that statement for granted. Like, oh, yeah, they care about their employees a lot, so I don't have to worry. But at the end of the day, I mean, I got laid off. So, I mean, it's annoying to deal with that, but that's the harsh truth of the tech world at the moment. So that's just something I want you to keep in mind as you go through these different like opportunities. Um, And but of course, don't treat them like they're enemies. I mean, I feel like they're more so like acquaintances, if anything. Definitely not family. And yeah, number 3, make meaningful connections. This is important because as you're working, you're going to need references or people who can vouch for you. And this will help you make bigger advances in your career. Um, because, say, for example, like, I mean, I guess I can speak on my own experiences. So I've met like a few people during undergrad or even through like just my previous positions, and because I had like a pretty solid relationship with them, they were able to refer me to other positions, reach out to me about other opportunities, and it would help me get my foot in the door for other interviews. Unfortunately, a lot of them didn't really go well, but it helps a lot. Um, and I mean, yeah, I do hear about people just reaching out to random individuals on LinkedIn to try and get a referral. I mean, that's one way to do it as well. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like the people who can vouch for you harder have much more value in what they say or what they can do for you. And this isn't just within your workplace. It could be like, I don't know, say you're at a bar and you meet people that are pretty cool and you can, I don't know, vibe with. Like, those are also really good things too. Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like a lot of us would just get lost in the flow of just doing work all the time, but it's also good to have fun outside of work as well. Number 4. Um, this one is aim to deliver impact. Because this is something that you want to be achieving at any role, no matter what position you are at, or yeah, no matter what position, no matter what company, because at the end of the day, if you're just working there and doing very simple things, grunt work, you won't have any. It'll get boring. It'll get very boring, get it super redundant. You probably hate to be there. And also, if you ever are asked about, oh, what did you do at this company? You're probably just going to be staring at them and being like, oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Something like that, you know? And that would really suck. Um, so just think about like whatever ticket, task, project you're working on. Uh, think about how you can leave your imprint um, within that company. It doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, go for like the best tickets out there. Like that's kind of, you could easily shoot yourself in the foot by doing that. I think it's just more so I would want you to brainstorm on how you can improve something when you receive like a certain ticket, or maybe you see some sort of place where you can improve it. And of course, don't just like assume you can do it. Make sure you're doing your research that it's a possible solution that can be delivered on, and from that you can um, sort of build up your repertoire that way. Uh, yeah, and this kind of leads into like my other sections, but I would just leave that one at that. So now number 5 is to um, oops, I didn't do it on the right line. Number 5 is plan ahead. With the current industry and how layoffs are happening, reorgs are going crazy nowadays. You just want to be ready for whatever could potentially come along your way. Um, and it may not even necessarily be industry related or work related. It could be like, personal problems, just yeah, stuff like that. Like if it's within your sightline, it's probably a good thing to just think about as you work and make sure it doesn't deter any sort of progress. And if it does, make sure to minimize that deterrence. Um, yeah, so I mean, like, just be just be more wary. Number 6. This one is, I guess, I wrote this on 2 bullets, but I'm going to put this together as one. Stay interview ready. I think this is super important, to be honest. I'd probably put this maybe number 2, in terms of like the top. Um, I feel like this kind of goes without saying. Like, if for your specific role that you apply for, or the things that you're trying to do, you probably have an idea of what an interview would look like. And with these interviews, say, I mean, I guess I'll speak on like my perspective. So as a software engineer, leak code is a huge thing, that a lot of us have to do. We're just constantly solving these problems. Sometimes they're stupid. You have no idea what to do. You have to break it down. The interviewer probably has some sort of accent that you can't understand. Everything can get really bad. So I think like, um, just being aware of your situation and knowing what kind of curveballs can come your way is also very good to have in your back pocket. And also, I know with like AI coming into the world, a lot of people are like cheating on their leak code problems. So that means interviewers are gonna have to make their questions more difficult. But at the same time, it's kind of difficult to do that, since I mean we only have a specific, or like a small amount of time for interviews. So that's where like the behavioral questions come in, where they ask you about projects, what kind of impact you've had, which leads to my other statement of number 4: aim to deliver impact, because this will ultimately carry your future. Whenever somebody asks you about, oh, what did you work at company X or company Y, um, and what do you think is like your greatest project? Like, if you can really wow the interviewer, it puts you so much more further ahead of other candidates. And say you had kept up with documentation about, oh, like say for Amazon, they have customer obsession as one of their leadership principles. You have a story that really defines that, or sort of redefines their principle to a way that it is really strongly portrayed in your story. And that, just being ready is super convenient, instead of going back and thinking like a year or two later, like, oh, or sorry, thinking back like a year or two before, of, oh, what did I do at this time? Was there a case where this happened? It's like not the best to just try to cram everything at the end of it. I feel like that's something I did for honestly all of my positions. Like, after some of my contracts or after the layoffs, I would just sit there and try to think of my accomplishments. And most of the time, I can't think of them like perfectly, so I'm having to like butcher them in some sort of way, or try to add some fluff here and there. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like, just if you accomplish something big, take note of it. Make sure you record it somewhere. You're not going to lose it. And make sure it's something that you can read later in the future and you will understand. So that's something I'm trying to do nowadays, because I feel like, um, I don't know. I mean, interviewing is becoming a very common occurrence, and I like making more money. So yeah, if you're like me, it's probably something you should do as well. All right, number 7. I guess this is the last one here. Um, don't tell. Oh, I guess this one kind of falls under work is not your family, but I'll just say it. Don't tell your employer slash colleagues about personal stuff. So, I mean, I feel like you could probably sort of deduce why you wouldn't want to do this. Most of these people at these companies, you can't really trust right away. It's really difficult to build up that trust, and someone can easily screw you over because you just tell them something wrong. I luckily haven't had that happen to me, but I feel like I've heard a couple of horror stories of where someone just shares a little bit too much. They report it to HR. HR gets back to you, and you're booted out of the company. Um, Make sure to keep a filter on what you say. It's really just not worth just laying out your troubles to people in your workplace. You should have, I mean, if you really feel the need for something like that, I would hope you have like other friends that you can turn to for those kind of things. And if not, I mean, like there's therapy. Maybe you just go to a bar and find some dude to get drunk with and talk to them about if that's your thing. Like, or I don't know, maybe you can find some rock in the front yard and talk to that. Like, just, yeah, the main thing here is just if you have something sensitive that you um want to talk about, or maybe if it's, yeah, whether it's work related or personal issues, um I don't know, talk to other people about it. If anything, like if it's disturbing your workflow or whatever, be very vague about it to your employer. Like, oh, if say your a loved one passed away, like I would just indicate it as that. No more, no less. People will understand, and most of the time they will not prod. And if you're looking for any sort of consoling or um, like venting, yeah, don't do it at work, please. And yeah, I mean, those are like the main things I think are pretty important. Um, yeah, honestly, like I feel like with just how the world has been changing recently, it's good to be on top of these kind of things. Um, because I know with like myself, I would get very comfortable with the flow of just how I go about my life. Wake up one morning, go to work, go to the gym, do whatever afterwards, repeat, and you just lose track of time, and time kind of just goes really quickly nowadays. And with how the trajectory of things are going, with yeah, the trajectory of how things are going currently, um, I would say just be very wary and yeah, be smart. Okay, well that's the video. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, yeah, I mean, let me know because I mean this is different from what I normally do, and yeah, maybe I'll try to do more videos like this later. Thanks for watching. Bye.